On this episode of Siesta Key Miami Moves, Cara launches a jewelry company, Chloe cleanses Kelsey and Madison's rental house, and after not wanting to drag out their breakup, Lexie and Mike drag out their breakup. I'm Lizzie Frizzle, and this is the Recap Corner. Today, we're talking about Season 5, Episode 6, called This TV Show Changed You. It's named for an awkward conversation between Juliet and Sam about which one of them has changed more as a result of being on Siesta Key. The conversation has nothing to do with anything else that happens in the episode and is kind of a strange place to pull the title from, but this is Siesta Key we're talking about. Does anything really have anything to do with anything? The episode starts like they all do, with Juliet and Lexie slow motion walking into an eatery where they'll rehash events from last episode. But not everything's the same as always. Instead of focusing the rehash almost exclusively on Juliet's storylines, this time they mostly talk about Lexie. She's upset because not only did Mike unfollow her on social media last episode, but now he's sending her countless messages, all implying, or outright saying, that she did, in fact, cheat on him with some guy in some bar in Delray. Meanwhile, at Sam's mansion, Mike explains that the reason he unfollowed Lexie was because her Instagram posts made her look too single, while his Instagram still looks like it belongs to someone in a relationship. He thinks Lexie is purposefully curating her profile this way to appear single and keep her options open. But I thought Lexie was single. Or was her telling Mike that they shouldn't drag out their relationship and Mike partying on Sam's yacht with enough Instagram models to fill a symphony orchestra not a breakup? Either way, the worst part about this confusing, amorphous breakup is that we learn how Mike usually handles the end of a relationship.
It's so hard for me because of the friendship that her and I've had. Normally, I'd be like, you know what? Like, go to hell. Let's not talk anymore. Go hook up with another girl in front of you. Like, I can't do it with her. I just can't. What do I do?
While the Lexie-Mike drama stews until later in the episode, I want to talk about, in comparison, a narratively unimportant interaction between Mike and Jordana. In an early scene, Jordana swims in Sam's pool. When she gets out, Mike hands her a drink and asks, in Spanish, if she'd like an alcoholic beverage.
Buenas tardes. Te hice una bebida de alcohol.
At first, I'm like, oh, that's awesome. Mike is from Argentina. Being bilingual is very impressive. And that moment is probably the most likable Mike's ever been on the show for me. Unfortunately, right after, he cancels it out by being a little too gatekeepy with Jordana about her own lack of Spanish fluency.
Bebida, is that like a drink?
You're supposed to know this stuff. But you're from Mexico, right?
Yeah, well, my mom is.
Y no sabes hablar español.
After, Sam enters the scene, saying he feels left out as the only non-Spanish speaker. Not only is that, like, a weird thing to say, but the conversation he walked in on was explicitly about Jordana not speaking Spanish. Original cast member Madisson arrives in Miami and moves in with Kelsey. If you're new to Siesta Key, then you may recognize Madisson from the opening credits, and nothing else, because this is her first appearance in the season. She lives in LA with her husband, Ish, formerly a producer on this show, and she's visiting Miami while he's away on a different producing job. When Madisson walks into Kelsey's house, she's greeted by Kelsey's energetic dog, Bella, who Madisson has trouble communicating with.
Ow! Wait, I don't know how to interact with dogs. Come here. I want to love her. She thinks you're playing. How do I tell her I'm not? I feel like I'm a cat and baby person. Off she goes.
If you don't want a dog to play with you, then maybe stop holding its toy. After Bella left the scene, I could finally focus on things other than her adorable dog existence, and I immediately noticed Madisson's t-shirt, which reads, "My baby died and I choose to talk about it." 7 months ago, in the show's timeline, in real time about a year ago, Madisson and Ish's son Elliot was stillborn. She discussed it on the show during last season's finale, and in her first appearance since, Madisson is continuing to grieve that loss. Madisson confides in Kelsey that she and Ish are trying to conceive again, but this time it's not going as well. A mixture of grief and pressure, plus the fact that their intimacy feels transactional, has left Madisson defeated and thinking that her life is not the one she envisioned for herself. It's a really sad conversation. Madison's crying, Kelsey's crying, I'm almost crying, but don't worry, I will be yet. Later, Chloe visits Madisson at her and Kelsey's house. Ever the good friend and the enthusiastic product endorser, Madisson unpromptedly praises Chloe's skincare line, Emerald Ray Botanicals.
How are you? How's Emerald Ray?
Good.
Good.
We have 2 new products being manufactured right now.
I use my oil every day, morning and night.
You're just saying.
I go look at the bottle. There's like 2 drops left.
Really?
Go look at the bottle in my bathroom.
Okay,
It's
wow.
on me right now.
I know.
I'm
It's
glowing.
Great.
Yeah.
We learn that Chloe's invited a psychic to come over to Madison's house. Chloe wants a reading. Apparently, it's a hobby of hers. After, Madisson will decide if she wants a reading too. At first, she's pretty hesitant, but Chloe helps her calm down by cleansing the house with sage while reciting a call and response poem.
Only
Positive.
loving
Energy
is welcome
is welcome
in my space.
my space.
Nothing negative is ever allowed back. Amen.
The editors help Madisson relax too by using her fingernails to make ASMR content. When the psychic, Nicole, arrives at the house, she quickly learns that Chloe is a very experienced customer.
Have you ever had a reading before?
Only hundreds of times.
Oh, really? Okay.
After Psychic Nicole delivers some flattering generalities, like calling Chloe independent and saying she could be a business owner, it's Chloe's turn to ask questions of her own. Her first ask, will she have kids? Kind of an insensitive one to pick when your friend who's still grieving the loss of their son is sitting right next to you.
Will I have kids one day?
Let me see your palm for that one. You're showing 2 lines for children.
I've gotten twins before. Boy and girl.
That I can't tell you.
Okay.
I've never seen a psychic, but I feel confidently that you're not supposed to try to corner them into saying certain things by revealing what other psychics have told you in the past. Next, attention turns to Chloe's marriage. Not only can Psychic Nicole intuit that Chloe's husband Chris is intimidated by her, but she can even tell that in a past life, Chloe was Chris's military general. Honestly, Chloe seems kind of pleased to hear that.
Why do you intimidate him?
all of my friendships and relationships, I tend to be more, masculine energy, always.
I feel like you might have been a general to him in a past life. Why he looks up to you without really verbalizing it.
But psychic readings aren't just about hearing what you want to hear. Right? First, Psychic Nicole says that Chloe married not for true love, but because it was just the next logical step. When she follows that up by telling Chloe that her soulmate is someone a few years older than her, the reading ends abruptly.
It's a strong bond, but the only thing is that I feel like your soulmate is someone a few years older than you.
I smell the start of a new fake storyline. Madisson agrees to her own reading because she was never not going to. But what unfolds was, for me, legitimately hard to watch. Psychic Nicole tells Madisson that there are 2 to 3 children in her future, but she should stop trying to conceive them until at least spring 2023. It gets worse when Madisson asks her own questions. She wants to know if her son Elliot is in a good place, and if he blames her, which is one of the saddest moments I've witnessed on a reality TV show, ever. Psychic Nicole senses a peaceful and protective presence around Madisson and suggests that she light a white candle to help communicate with Elliot's spirit. Fortunately, we learn that Madisson is already writing children's books for him, which, as it turns out, is way better than the candle thing. People have a wide array of opinions about psychics. Me personally, I thought the scene was exploitative and a bad idea. But if it provided Madisson some comfort or some healing, then it doesn't really matter. At the very least, we know Madisson didn't get any comfort from Chloe, because the entire scene, as Madisson is sobbing, and I assume many other viewers are also sobbing, Chloe is so stoic and unmoved, I kept mistaking her for Lexie. After the psychic reading, Chloe and her husband Chris meet for a late dinner date. There, Chloe lies to him about what Psychic Nicole told her.
So how did today go with Madisson? Did you go see a psychic?
Yes, I believe that's what she is. I asked if I was going to have any kids. It's like my favorite thing to ask, and she said 2, possibly twins.
Now that's making your own destiny. Suddenly, Chloe wants to have those twins. Now. This episode. But Chris isn't ready. Not until he's sure he's not carrying any baggage from his parents' divorce. Not until he and Chloe have made more memories, just the 2 of them. And not until Amanda moves out of their house. Respectfully, is there anyone watching Siesta Key that's been waiting for a Chloe wants to be a mom but there's distance in her marriage storyline? Who is this for? And yeah, you can ask that about pretty much any storyline except Madison's. But really, who is this one for? Last episode, Sam and Jordana floated the idea of a party to celebrate the launch of their faux fur line, Focus. So naturally, in this episode, the event of the week is a launch party for Cara and her sister's jewelry line. We learn that Cara's dad is a New York jewelry mogul, and sort of in honor of him, but also sort of a coincidence maybe, she's starting a jewelry line with her sister Mia, who we meet in this episode. She looks a lot like Cara. But why hear about it from me when you can hear about it from Chloe?
You guys look like twins.
We talk the same and do the same facial expressions.
So you have the resting bitch face?
Oh, God.
Not as bad as her.
Cara warns Mia that when she meets the cast, everyone might not be friendly. Cara and Jordana are still in a tiff over Cara's abrupt move out from Sam's mansion. Cara explains to Mia what we already know, that she feels like Jordana's residency with Sam has changed her for the worse.
Like, I liked Jordana when she was driving a minivan in Siesta Key, and now she's, like, showing off her diamond chains on people's social media.
This season's editing is pushing the narrative that Jordana's in a sticky situation, as Chloe called it, and I do think Cara is a good friend to her in this episode, but I also did laugh at this generationally wealthy person wishing their less rich friend still drove a minivan and didn't have access to diamonds. So, on the spectrum of Siesta Keister businesses, just how real is Cara and Mia's jewelry company? Well, it's got a name, the same circle. It's got an active Instagram account. It's got a well-designed website where you can see inventory and even buy it, which people are because lots of stuff is sold out. And it's got online buzz from fans who are excited about the brand. On Siesta Key, that's enough to make it the realest business we've ever seen aside from JMP the label. One slow motion setting up montage later, the launch party looks great. There's a claw machine with jewelry inside, champagne pong, giant glittery Jenga, and one thing that when you see it, you know it's about to be a rager. Arbitrarily gendered party favors.
So the girls are going to take the gift bags, guys are going to get the t-shirts and the tumblers.
Right.
The guests, aka the cast, start to arrive, but not everyone gets an invite. Last episode, Christine was invited to the party of the week, but left out of an important scene everyone else was in. In this episode, she's not even at the party, despite being one of the main models on the same circle's website. They took the product photos in an earlier scene. We spend the launch party storyline hopping. First, let's check in on Cara and Jordana's tiff. It's over. They both apologize, which I'm sure was hard for Cara. She explains that her concerns about Jordana's well-being are separate from whatever Chloe's dramatic diatribe was about at the JMP yacht party. Cara's worried because Jordana doesn't make art anymore, and because she rarely leaves Sam's mansion. I thought this was one of the episode's strongest scenes, even if it's likely foreshadowing tough times ahead for Jordana. Like Cara says, her concern for Jordana's well-being does feel a lot different, a lot more genuine than Chloe's ambushy intervention. At the end of the scene, we learn that Jordana doesn't remember bickering with Cara on the yacht last episode, which either means Jordana was blacked out during filming or she's lying to help introduce a new storyline, that she drinks too much. Before the launch party even ends, that storyline already starts to escalate. After her guests have had their fill of dancing and pizza eating, sometimes both at once, Cara tries to make a toast, but instead, Jordana seizes the opportunity to make her own toasted toast.
Go ahead, Jordana. I have something to say. It's not anything mean, I promise. First of all, I know a lot of you may not like Cara. Real, recognize real, baby. And I know you are real. So sorry that if we ever fought, it doesn't mean anything, I promise. Okay.
Good thing Sam offered to pick up the bar tab. Later, in another storyline, Madisson tells Juliet and Cara about her psychic reading. Seeing Madisson ignore some of what Psychic Nicole told her and seeing the cast support her skepticism did make her initial reading a little less harrowing in retrospect, so I appreciated this scene's inclusion.
Like, she said that I can't get pregnant for another year, and I was like, no, I'm not.
No, I'm sorry. I'm not really sure why a psychic would know that. You're a medical professional.
It's insensitive as
But what I liked about it even more comes after the psychic rehashing. Madisson reveals that lately she's been dealing with some body image issues and asks Juliet to help her find a JMP swimsuit that'll get some of her confidence back. I hope this is a real storyline and not just a one-off sentimental moment to end a scene. Because a costume test montage where Madisson tries on a bunch of bathing suits while Juliet, Cara, and Kelsey drink champagne and encourage her sounds really fun. Of course, because it's Siesta Key, the entire thing would probably have to be in slow motion, but still. Across the party, Sam approaches Juliet. As usual, he asks her for a hug, and she declines. But this time, the editing is odd.
What up? Are we doing the hug thing yet or no? Cool.
Did they actually hug? If Juliet's repeated refusal to hug Sam is secretly another of the producer's many fake story elements, then it's my favorite thing they've ever made up. This scene, despite being the source of the episode's title, feels out of place. In it, Juliet and Sam both accuse the other of changing as a result of being on a TV show. This one. It starts with Sam comparing himself to Clark, whose aversion to on-camera appearances leaves him absent from another party of the week. Sam implies that he was a better boyfriend to Juliet, because even though he also hated filming, he was willing to participate for her while they dated. But Sam and Juliet aren't dating anymore, and yet Sam's still on the show, his parents have appeared on the show, his Miami mansion is a major set piece, and just this season, he was added into the opening credits. Juliet says as much, only less wordily. Then Sam says as much back, but it doesn't hit quite the same.
When we started filming together, our relationship changed. I feel like this TV show kind of just changed you.
I feel like it changed you too.
But I've been doing this way longer than we
I know,
did.
you changed a lot. I knew you for years. Yeah, you did.
Toward the end of the party, after hours of open bar drinking, it's the perfect time for Juliet and Mike and Lexie and Sam to have a set of serious conversations about Lexie and Mike's breakup. Mike and Sam want to know if the Reddit rumor that Lexie cheated is true. But, as is common on this show, no one learns anything. Both scenes are pretty boring. For me, the highlight is that Juliet initiates her conversation with Mike, then later tells him she doesn't want to be involved in the breakup. Wasn't Juliet annoyed at Lexie last season for not being involved enough in her own breakup with Sam? In the segment's final scene, Mike confronts Lexie directly about the Reddit rumor, but it seems like he already made up his mind about whether or not it's true.
If you come clean with me right now, I'll understand. If potentially you made out with somebody, start talking to somebody, I'll get it. But if you don't, then I'm gonna have resent towards you.
As if that's not bad enough, later, Mike orders Lexie to swear on her dad that she never cheated. Lexie gives the only appropriate response.
There's nothing that I've ever
Swear
done
on your
wrong.
dad's life.
Mike,
Swear on your dad's life and you never cheated on me.
Mike.
Honestly, at the end of the day, you and I aren't happy anyway, so I guess it doesn't matter.
It's wild to remember that the point of this party was to sell jewelry. Partway through the episode, Juliet FaceTimes her mom. She talks about an upcoming getaway to Greece that she, Clark, and a big group of their friends, none of whom are in the cast, are taking. They're going to Mykonos, I assume, to hang out at Lindsay Lohan's abandoned beach club. Problem is, Juliet's too nervous to tell her publicists Dara and Gwen about the trip for fear of their reaction. Like Juliet encourages Lexie to not drag out her breakup with Mike, Juliet's mom encourages her not to drag out telling Dara and Gwen about the vacation. So naturally, it doesn't come up again until the last scene of the episode. Regretfully, we end at Bacon Bitch, where Juliet is 20 minutes late for a meeting with Dara and Gwen. It isn't the first time, and apparently she's running out of excuses, even if those excuses are ones Dara taught her to use.
Where is she? She's supposed to be here like 20 minutes ago.
Like, I have a meeting in an hour, so, like, this has got to go quick.
You could always blame Miami traffic, but how many times can you really do that?
Hi.
Hey. Sorry, I'm late. Okay.
What did you say? I can always blame it on Miami traffic?
After the success of the JMP Miami Swim Week fashion show, the brand has momentum, and Dara wants to capitalize on it. Her friend Elizabeth, who has a beautiful home, is hosting an event. In attendance will be buyers, influencers, media, the entire who's who of Miami. Just what sort of event at someone's house would draw this kind of crowd? Doesn't matter. Unfortunately, the event is only a few days away. But that's when Juliet'll be in Greece. She finally tells Dara and Gwen about the vacation 2 hours before the flight leaves. With that Miami traffic we keep hearing about, unless this Bacon Bitch is a satellite location inside the airport, she'll never make it in time. As Juliet feared, Dara and Gwen are annoyed. And as she leaves the restaurant, they agree that if she bails on a business event again, then they'll bail on representing JMP the label. But is that really how that works? Juliet's relationship to the publicists has yet to make sense to me. Dara and Gwen act like it's because of them that JMP the label is succeeding. But it was already successful way before they were shoehorned into the supporting cast. They regularly lecture Juliet about the importance of Instagram followers, even though combined they have about 52,000, and Juliet on her own has over 800,000. They think JMP the label would fail without them. But really, isn't Juliet the one giving them exposure? And the one thing they could do to help teach Juliet the importance of not showing up 20 minutes late to business meetings, they'll only do behind her back. Thanks for watching. Come back next Wednesday for another Siesta Key Miami Moves recap. When Amanda wears Sam's shirt, Lexie seemingly confirms the Reddit rumor, and Chloe tells Madisson not to let Jordana illustrate her children's book. It seems like it's going to be a whole thing. In the meantime, if you're so inclined, please like and subscribe. Thanks again. See you next time. Bye.
Yeah. Yeah.